Medical experts say the Philippines is in its fourth and worst COVID-19 wave. This is based on higher hospital occupancy rates and average death toll running for almost 3 months now. The lower house begins plenary debates over the proposed 5 trillion peso spending plan for next year. But as early as now, one lawmaker is flagging insufficient COVID-19 response allocation. The Senate also touched on budget concerns, specifically for the COMELEC. The upper house wants the poll body to extend voters' registration or risk a possible budget cut. The health department warns of a shortage in tocilizumab, a drug used in treating COVID-19 symptoms. Families of COVID-positive patients are now seeking authorities' help against overpriced sellers taking advantage of the situation. International boy group BTS takes the United Nations stage with a message of hope amid the pandemic. Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's a roundup of stories we're watching now. I'm Sean Yao. Experts are saying that the current wave of COVID-19 infections brought about by the Delta variant has been the longest and most severe so far. Greg Gregorio tells us more.
The Philippines is having its fourth wave of COVID-19 infections a year and a half into the pandemic. Some medical experts dub this as the longest and most severe wave the country has experienced. All of this thanks to the more infectious Delta variant. The first wave of infections was back in late March to April of 2020. According to the UP COVID-19 pandemic response team, the Philippines was still catching up in terms of testing capacity then. As testing labs increased, the number of cases increased as well. This was the case during the second wave back in June to August 2020 and in the third wave last March to April this year. But the latest wave is seen as the worst with cases and hospitalization rates higher than ever.
Ang wave tataas, tapos bababa. Pero what happened in March, tumaas siya, pero bumaba ng konti, tapos nag-plateau. Kita niyo yan, nag-plateau siya.
Infectious disease expert Dr. Ronjin Solante noted an increase in cases for those under 50 years old, as well as fully vaccinated health workers. Apart from this, Solante said this seems to be the longest infection wave so far, dating back to July.
Since the 3rd to 4th week of July, most of our ICUs, especially here in our hospital, San Lazaro Hospital, are already full. And until now, it's still full. And we haven't seen any lag in terms of the number of cases that we're getting, no?
The health department has yet to issue a statement regarding the matter, but based on the agency's data, the all-time high among COVID-19 deaths was recorded in August. A daily average of 155 deaths and cumulative death toll of more than 4,800 were tallied last month.
Yung taas ng kaso natin ngayon, kumpara dun sa ating previous na mga pagtaas ng kaso, yung peaks natin last March and April and last year in 2020, twice as much ang numero ng kaso natin ngayon. Ganun kadami. As your number of cases increase, your deaths will increase.
Still, the government is keeping hope intact. Dr. Edsel Salvana of the DOH Technical Advisory Group said the government's vaccination drive has helped cushion the effect of the Delta variant in the country. For News 5, Greg Gregorio, we are One News.
And the health department is warning that the shortage of tocilizumab, a drug used to treat severe COVID-19, will persist through the end of the year. Pam Vasquez gives us a front seat to the story.
37-year-old Josie, along with her husband, caught COVID-19 last month. One of the medicines doctors prescribed him was tocilizumab.
It is an arthritis drug, but has also been found effective as an anti-inflammatory medicine to treat severe COVID. Problem is, A surge in COVID cases worldwide has resulted in a supply shortage.
Yung first kong nakausap, sabi niya 69. So sabi ko, ma'am, baka naman pwedeng i-lower mo yung price.
The suggested retail price of tocilizumab ranges from 13 to a maximum of 25,000 pesos. But online, people desperate for the drug say they've been paying as much as 80 to 100,000 pesos per vial, or more than 4 times the SRP. This month alone, police have arrested at least 7 people allegedly involved in the overpricing and illegal resale of the drug. They face fines of up to 1 million pesos as well as potential jail time. In the end, Josie was able to secure a vial at 46,000 pesos. Although it was too little too late, her husband didn't make it. The health department has warned that supplies of tocilizumab will remain thin until the end of the year. It says it's already exhausting all channels to find a solution.
We've coordinated with one supplier outside of the country. Titignan po natin kung may papasok po at mabibigyan din dapat ng registration bago po natin mapagamit sa population.
The situation is so dire it's been brought to the attention of President Duterte. Officials say they're now studying generic alternatives for tocilizumab. I'm Pamela Vasquez and we are One News.
House Speaker Lord Alan Velasco has asked the president to reconsider the government's face shield policy. The House Speaker sent a letter to the president saying the face shield requirement only adds financial burden to Filipinos. He also cited international and local studies, stating the use of face shields made little difference against the virus. Aside from this, the Speaker also said it only worsens the country's waste problem. We'll have more stories after this quick break. Keep it here. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. Manila Mayor Isko Moreno is expected to announce his presidential bid tomorrow. A News 5 source confirms that the announcement will be taking place at the Benigno Aquino Elementary School in Tondo, Manila. The source also disclosed that Dr. Willie Ong, who ran for Senate in the 2019 polls, will be Isko's vice president. One House lawmaker insists insufficient COVID-19 response funds under the proposed 2022 national budget. Marikina Representative Stella Kimbo told the plenary that the 350 billion peso COVID-19 response budget for the 2022 spending plan is simply not enough. She says this will not cover special risk allowances, hazard pay, and other benefits for health workers. Kimbo also notes the COVID response budget comprises barely 7% of the proposed 5 trillion peso budget for 2022. The Senate renews its call on the COMELEC to extend voter registration until the end of October. But this time, senators warned the poll body of a budget cut if it again refuses to move the deadline. The upper chamber approved a concurrent resolution calling for voter registration extension until October. The COMELEC previously said they need to stick with the September 30 deadline to avoid adjustments come election season. One Australian startup wants to solve the problem of single-use plastic with reusable trash bags that can be used for years. The details in this Bloomberg Quick Take.
Our product, it's in the home. So once you buy it, you have it lined in your bin at home. There is zero opportunity for you to forget your Tom bag reusable bin liner when it's already lined in your bin.
We thought about the smell problem. That's why our inner lining of our product is made in a special way. It has antibacterial properties and it helps to reduce unwanted smell. And we will incentivize them for that and provide them a discount for their next purchase, and basically nothing will go to landfill.
Bioplastics release methane. Methane is a lot worse than CO2s in terms of creating greenhouse gases.
In a number of places, especially in North America, many councils are against the idea of loose rubbish. And our hope is that with time, waste management companies, government will just start noticing the problem with single-use trash bags and change the current rules.
We also hope that when you walk down the aisle of a supermarket, you won't be able to see any single-use bin liners, whether they're virgin plastic, recycled plastic.
Here's a quick look at today's other top stories. The Health Department will revisit the Education Department's guidelines for the pilot run of limited in-person classes. Spokesperson Rosette Vergara said the proposed guidelines were submitted for approval back in June when the more infectious Delta COVID variant was still not a matter of concern for the country. PNP Chief Guillermo Eleazar has ordered an in-depth probe into the death of artist Bree Johnson in San Juan, La Union over the weekend. Johnson's companion, Julia Nongpin, was charged for cocaine possession, but was later released pending investigation results. International pop sensation BTS performed their latest hit, Permission to Dance, over at the United Nations General Assembly. Aside from the performance, the boys also spoke about hope in this pandemic and the importance of vaccination. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Masks on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I'm Shawn Yao. We are One News.